All right.
See?
Let's begin our second program this morning. Thank you everyone for staying for the Elevate Success program this morning, February 1st, 2024. I'd like to welcome Debbie Clason with Clason Communications. She is going to share her knowledge and expertise on annual marketing plan development and getting the most from your marketing dollars. Today you're going to hear how to customize a marketing budget that's right for your business, including 1, how much money to allocate each year, and 2, basic expenditures every marketing budget should include, and last but not least, number 3, the best way to determine where to spend your marketing dollars. As the owner of Clason Communications, Debbie brings more than 40 years experience as a journalist, corporate marketing director, and public relations professional to the table. Her clients include nonprofit organizations, restaurants, healthcare professionals, and governmental agencies. Debbie is a graduate of Indiana University with degrees in journalism and education. She is a member of Four Peaks Rotary and the Fountain Hills Chamber of Commerce, as well as a graduate of the Fountain Hills Leadership Academy. Debbie is the proud mother of 3 adult children, Matthew, who lives in Chandler and is an Enterprise Modern Data Center Specialist for Dell. That's a lot to say, isn't it? Kind of a tongue twister. Lauren is a journalist for Roll Call, covering healthcare on Capitol Hill, and Kristen, who works on solar and wind projects as a project development manager for an environmental company in Indianapolis. Debbie lives in Fountain Hills with her rescue dog, George. Please help me welcome Debbie Clason, Clason Communications.
Appreciate you. Yeah, it's my pleasure. Big round of applause for the Fountain Hills Chamber of Commerce for putting on this. Yeah. Learning so much, and I'm hearing so many good things in the community about this series. So thanks so much for allowing me to come and share a little bit about marketing, which everybody knows. If you know me, you know I could probably talk about in my sleep, and maybe I do. I don't know. However, one of the things that wasn't in my introduction is that I've been doing this probably longer than 40 years. I was thinking about that the other day. I thought at some point in time I'm going to have to say more than 50 years, but maybe that's when I retire, because I just can't honestly keep that out of my mouth or put that in any kind of a bio. I actually started content development when I was 10 years old, and I was putting newsletters together for my family. I would, remember the old typewriters, some of you will in this room, that had the red and the black ribbon, remember those? I used to do newsletters and use my sibling, because I'm the oldest of 5, and you'll meet the rest of my family here in a little bit in the presentation, but I used to do newsletters and I have my siblings be correspondents. They would go out and do interviews, and that's how I kept them out of the kitchen, so my bonus mom, my stepmom, could actually make dinner. So she still has those, by the way, to this day. That's awesome. Yeah, she does. Those are one of her treasures.
Excuse me, sorry for being late.
Good morning. Come on in, please. Join us.
I'm on a call, sorry about that.
No worries. So welcome to Marketing Budget Basics, and I'd like to begin today with a quote from Steve Jobs, who most of us would agree, very good marketer in his own right, about the importance of marketing. He said, "You can have a great product, but if communication fails, it's like watching a stand-up comedian do a gig in a completely different language." So today I want to talk about how you can put a marketing budget together. And actually, let's just do this. How do you do that? There we go. So today I'm hopeful that we're going, by the time you leave this workshop, you're going to be able to determine how much of your budget to allocate to marketing on an annual basis. Understand where your best customers obtain their buying information, and leave with confidence in spending your marketing dollars. And so I thank you, Kristen, for doing this, but she went ahead and put these slides into note form so you can take notes on the slide, because that's the way I think in my little brain. And also, we'll be talking about this avatar workshop in this worksheet in just a little bit. Okay, so what is marketing anyway? I came across the most perfect definition of marketing on the internet, or on LinkedIn actually. I just want to make sure that we're all on the same page here. So you may have heard this story. Here's the simplest, most jargon-free story I've ever heard. If the circus is coming to town and you paint a sign saying, "Circus coming to the showground Saturday," that's advertising. If you put the sign on the back of an elephant and walk into town, that's promotion. If the elephant walks through the mayor's flower bed and the local newspaper writes a story about it, that's publicity. If you get the mayor to laugh about it, that's public relations. If you're able to convince citizens to spend money in your entertainment booth, that's sales. And if you plan the whole thing, that's marketing. That's marketing. Now I just need an elephant. Right. Now you just need a cute little elephant like him. So budget allocation, let's talk about how much actually the experts say you should put towards marketing efforts every year. Most companies' marketing budgets range anywhere from 5 to 25% of their revenue or revenue targets. 5 to 25%, and that's quite the swing. And it basically depends on whether you're just getting started or you've been in the business for a while. If you're a new business or you're a business younger than 5 years, Clason Communications starts their 6th year this year. I just realized. It started in 2019. 6th year this year, so I'm suddenly no longer a new business. But if you are a new business, you fall in that range, you should plan on allocating 5 to 20% of your gross revenue towards marketing. And that can be a lot. So for instance, if you are planning to make $100,000 this year in 2024, you would plan to spend as much as $20,000 on your marketing efforts. And of course that's different, right, from business to business, and we'll get into that just a little bit in a minute, but I wanted to tell you exactly what the experts are saying. For established businesses that have less than $5 million in sales, and those that are older than 5 years, allocate 7 to 8% of your gross revenue. So you can see again, if you're planning to make $100,000 in 2024, that could be as much as $8,000. So that's just a rule of thumb. And I know some of you, maybe most of you, were in Kim Widener's class when she was talking about budgeting. And I remember what she said. She talked about categories and going back and kind of doing forecasting, creating buckets and looking at those buckets so that you can forecast not only how much money you're going to make, but how much you are going to spend. Just make sure that marketing is one of those buckets. And if you don't already have a software program that helps you determine how much you're spending from year to year to year, I would really suggest that you get that, because that really helps with your forecasting. You can go back, the one I have, and I'll just put a plug in for this, it's called Wave. Anybody heard of Wave?
Mm-hmm.
I love Wave, or I use that instead of QuickBooks, which, not all accountants would probably agree with me on. But one of the reasons I like Wave is because it really helps with the categories and the allocations. Yeah, I can look back and see what percentage of my sales or of my revenue I'm using in these particular different categories that you can set up for yourself. So if you don't already know that, that's one thing that you should invest in this year and really keep track of. Where are you spending your money? And if you do already know that, make sure that you take a minute, look back on, just like Kim was saying, look back on what you did the year before, make your little buckets and categories and do your forecasting, and make sure that marketing is a part of that.
Is Wave about the same price as QuickBooks?
Wave is free.
Oh.
It's a free app. I'm all about the free.
Yeah.
I'm all about the free. And there's some.
So how do they make their money?
They want you to sign up for extra services like you don't have. I haven't had to upgrade for 5 years. Oh gosh, knock on wood. Don't do that. Don't do that to me, goes your way. But if they do, I might. I mean, they've been good to me, so I might. But what they want you to upgrade, they want you to upgrade to a accounting services, because they'll do accounting for you, or payroll. Payroll's their big thing, because they can handle payroll for you too, but they will charge for that. All right, so and you can see there, my source was U.S. Small Business Administration, SBA. But again, like I said, that's just a rule of thumb. It's very different, especially those of us fortunate enough to work in this beautiful bubble called Fountain Hills, Arizona. Your budget spend, and I'm going to go back to that example I read you about marketing. Advertising, promotion, publicity, and public relations. Those are the 4 things that you want to think about when you're allocating for marketing. Advertising, what type of paid communication do you need to promote your business? Promotion, how are you going to influence people to purchase your products or services? Because that's not always advertising. Sometimes it's networking through organizations like the Chamber of Commerce and supporting the sponsorship, having a sponsorship in one of these major events that they host every year. Maybe it's publicity, which is again, goes back to the chamber, and public relations, how you're going to manage perceptions about your business. And that's all about your brand. But think about those when you're thinking about budget spend. And just a pro tip here, once you allocate what you're going to spend on marketing, make sure you spend it. Because like Steve Jobs said, if you don't spend it, that's when communication breaks down. And that's when you're basically watching the comedian say something very funny, although in a foreign language, your clients aren't going to get it. They're not going to know you're wrong. Questions to answer before you know where to spend your money. First, are you a business to business, or are you a business to consumer business? Who is your target market? And another thing I would encourage you to think about is how much money you actually make an hour. And those, you guys were listening to Scott talk about that just last hour. You've got to know how much you make an hour, because if you can hire out somebody to do the job better than you can at a lesser rate, then it's really in your best interest to hire them so that you can do what you were born to do as an entrepreneur. I've got a great example of that. I used to work for a family-owned travel company in Indianapolis, and I can remember the CEO. I think he was just a frustrated marketer anyway, but he was the CEO. He was making big bucks, right? His per hour income was a lot more than the sweet little graphic designer that he was of my employee, that he was standing over, and he was micromanaging not just the font, but the font size in an ad that was 1x2. It was going to run one time on Sunday in the Indianapolis Star. And we're butt up against a deadline. Allie knew what she was doing. Did it really matter what the font was and the font size? Did he need to be, she was being paid $20 an hour. He was making $250, $300 an hour. His time would have been much better spent behind his desk helping, one of the other departments schedule a tour or, managing a company. But he was very insistent upon doing that. Finally, I said, Michael, I'm in charge here. Go on, we'll figure it out. You go. But he really didn't get it. So big, but you should. And I will tell you this too. If you don't know how much you make an hour, here's another app that I love. It's called Clockify, another free app. And if you could download that one and you can use it to track how much time you're actually spending on your project, that will give you a great idea how much time you're spending, and then you can make, especially if you're a solopreneur like I am, then you can really make some intelligent decisions about how much you earn an hour and how much you can afford to hire maybe a freelancer or another entrepreneur. So every budget should include money too, because like I said before, everybody's different in here. I'm looking around the room, I know most of you guys, you all do very different things. But every budget should definitely include money to create and maintain a functional website or a Facebook business page, depending on your best customer. Every employee that you have should have business cards that they can give whenever they're asked, so that they got something as a takeaway, at least that is a takeaway. And also establish a Google My Business profile, because that's where you're going to get your reviews and your testimonials that people can see when they're searching online for products and services just like you. Every budget should consider including money for advertising and sponsorship. And like I said, the hiring of freelancers or contractors based on how much money you make and how much money they're going to charge you to do the job. A lot of times we think about that when everybody in here isn't great at doing DIY. And when you own your own business, you do a lot of DIY. I mean, there's nothing wrong with that. But at some point in time, you've got to decide how long it's going to take you to learn how to build and maintain a website, as opposed to somebody who can create it for you. And maybe they can do it a lot faster and a lot better than you can, and you can turn your attention to other things. Okay, so how do you know, though, once you've got those elements in place, exactly where to spend your money based on your best customer? And that's why I printed out this, or Kristen actually printed out this little avatar worksheet for you. It's really important for you to know who your best customers are. And everybody's so different from, person to person, that I thought what I would do is, I think it's time for you to meet my family. I'm just going to introduce you to a few members of my family, and we'll use them as an examples as far as who best customers are. Who in this room believes that they market to the silent generation?
The what?
The silent generation, people born between 1925 and 1945, they're the traditional, hardworking, loyal, respectful people. Let me just introduce you. Here's the guy, here's the avatar worksheet. Here's the guy who hung the moon. In case you ever wondered who hung the moon, it's my dad, 91 years old. He's part of the silent generation. He's a college graduate, he's retired, he's a business owner, he's married. His hobbies, you're looking at this worksheet. His hobbies are fitness, investing. He's a great family man. Is he on social media? He'll tell you no, but he watches YouTube. He watches YouTube and he skips the ads. He's also on Twitter. And he follows his investors on Twitter. And that's phenomenal for a 91-year-old, because Twitter is probably, as far as social media platforms are, a fast-moving river. But he knows where his investors are, and he can go and look at their profiles and see what they've just tweeted. And he's also on Instagram, although no picture, no post. He just is on Instagram, no picture, no post, just so he can follow his grandson, Bailey, who's a musician who plays all over the place. So he likes to see what Bailey's posting. Does he look at direct mail? No, he does not. And he's influenced by television and Apple News. He wears an Apple Watch. And so every once in a while I'll ask him a question and I'll get okay or yes. It's because he's using the automatic prompts on his watch just to answer my texts. But cool, right? 91 years old. So before we talk about how you would market, how you would use your marketing budget to market to somebody like my dad, let me introduce you to my bonus mom. She's my stepmom, who's had some college. She's a homemaker, obviously married to Dad. They've been married for more than 50 years. This was at Dad's 90th birthday party. She's a reader. She's a prolific shopper. She's had her credit card compromised more times than I have fingers. Not kidding. The other day she said to me and my sister at a family dinner we do every week, I just ordered everybody in the family, I'm so excited, just ordered everybody in the family Elon Musk energy savers. All you have to do is plug them into your outlet and it'll save you 50% on your energy bill. And my sister and I said, Mom, And soon after that, her credit card was compromised. She had to get a new credit card. So, Facebook user definitely clicks on ad links. She also uses eBay, Amazon, and Facebook Marketplace. So, prolific shopper. And she's influenced by magazine ads and online marketing from her favorite stores. Now here's my question to you. Knowing what you do about those two members of the silent generation who are married, how would you market to my dad? Where would you spend your marketing dollars if you wanted my dad's attention?
I would go to small.
What? Good job, absolutely. Because do you think he's bought any, has he shopped at all in 50 years? No, because he hasn't had to. Who does the shopping? She does the shopping. So don't market to him, because he's skipping YouTube ads, and he's not clicking, he's not on any social media to speak of, and he just gets his information. He's just concerned about the investing part of it. It's her, target her, make her compromise her credit card. Or don't, and it will be very painful as a family. So if you're gonna market to Bonus Mama, where are you gonna be? Where do you wanna be? You want to be on a subscriber list of hers. You want to be one of her favorite customers so that you're sending her emails constantly because she reads them and she acts on them. You want some good reviews. Make sure you've got good reviews because, make sure I know this. Yeah, she'll pick up a brochure if she thinks it's something she'd like at a later date. She goes to the art fair and she does pick up those. But, and very important, is they both do their due diligence on websites. So they go to websites and they definitely get their information from there, yeah. So make sure your website content is functional for you. Websites work for you 24/7, 365 if they're set up correctly. Especially if they lead to being able to sign up for classes or that kind of thing. All right. Well, what about Mama? Here's my mom. This was at her evidently 75th birthday, which was about 10 years ago. She's a college graduate. She's a retired social worker. She's single. She loves crafts and upcycling. She's a reader. She's like a wee bowling champion in her manufactured home community. She lives in a manufactured home community. She is a Facebook user. She doesn't click on ads. She uses Facebook to play words with friends, to keep up with the kids, and as a search engine. She thinks Facebook's a search engine. If you ask Mom to go look up something, she'll open Facebook and search through Facebook.
They just had a wrestling commercial about that.
Oh,
It's a service, it's a tag, this is a status
How
bar.
not to be like your parents, progressive.
This is a status bar, not, something about slipping to my DMs, that sounds pretty interesting.
Slide in. And she's influenced by direct mail, especially grocery ads, but here's the cool thing about Mom. She lives in a community where they really take care of each other. So she's got a clubhouse where they literally bring in food and clothes. You can go take whatever you want to at that clubhouse. And she has her walking group. So she really isn't a shopper. She's the upcycler. And she said to me, I have everything I need and I need to get rid of some things. And so she'll shop, she shops at resale shops. So she's a big DIYer. As a matter of fact, one of my favorite stories about her is when I was a young homemaker and was in the process of, I had curtains, I had inherited curtains in the house we had bought that were so ugly, in my opinion. I couldn't stand it, I couldn't wait to take them down. I finally took them down. She was there the day I was taking them down, and she says to me, "What are you gonna do with those?" "Well, Mom, I'm probably gonna donate them. I don't care if I never see them again." "Okay, can I take them?" "Yes, you're saving me a trip." So 2 months later, I'm at her house, I walk into her condo, and she has these beautiful window treatments up, and I'm like, "Wow, I love your window treatments. Where'd you get them?" And she said, "Oh, you don't recognize those? Those are your curtains." She had upcycled them into this beautiful creation. And I said, "Can I have them back?" And she said, "No." But, so she doesn't do a lot of shopping, she's definitely on a fixed income and she gets what she needs for her community and the only direct mail she really needs are grocery ads. How would you market to someone like my mom?
Facebook.
She doesn't pay any attention, she doesn't pay any attention to ads.
Is she in Facebook groups?
So she searches.
I think it was
as a
a
business.
clubhouse or something. We've been here at the clubhouse.
Good events.
Do her event there.
Mail card, post up, direct mail.
She doesn't read, well, direct mail, she says she's not, the only direct mail she's really influenced by is our grocery store ads. Because she doesn't buy, she likes to thrift.
Put an ad on her, we bowling. Just pop up.
Oh, and FYI, that group cusses too much, so she might not be playing with it.
She knows that violence.
Let's stop swearing during we bowling.
Otherwise, Dog won't play with us anymore. Actually, if you really want to, if you want to reach somebody like my mom, just like it was with my bonus mom, if you want to influence my dad, go through my bonus mom. If you want to influence somebody like my mom, go through her kids, us, the baby boomers. We're the ones that are taking care of her right now. She just had a major flood in her home. And my Bubby, my brother, he's my younger brother, you would know it. He basically, just from his skill set, was able to completely refurbish it. When she needed a new recliner, and all she had to do was say, I would really like a new recliner, and we're on it. So if you're gonna market to Mama, go through her kids, because Mama's a silent generation. She's approaching 90. She's in her late 80s, and so she's getting to that point, fixed income. So, but my brother, baby boomers, let's talk about baby boomers for a minute, He is your people. Yeah, right. A college graduate, he's retired, he's an entrepreneur, he's single, he's into camping, firearms, carpentry, metalworking. When the apocalypse happens, I'm going to Bubby's house. Working it? Yeah, right. He's got the guns, he's got the firearms, he's got the canned goods, he's got the camping gear, he's got the tools, he's got it all. No social media or cable. That's just
the Fox News.
Yep, no, he goes cable, YouTube. That's where he watches gets all of his news from. So he's Al Shazar and, conspiracy. I wouldn't say conspiracy theorist, but he's definitely a prepper. He's definitely prepared. And God love him. He's the one that came to my house from Chandler in the middle of a rainstorm with his flashlight on his head to climb up a ladder in the driving rain and brush water off of my flat roof. And it was dark. That's my brother. Strong family. He watches YouTube all the time. That's his main channel source because he's always learning about camping and firearms and this and that. But the ads really irritate him. So, my thought was, oh gosh, just get on YouTube ads. That's the way to get to my brother. Don't do that. The best way to influence my brother, or to at least get his attention, is get your product into the hands of a YouTube influencer that he follows. He's big into influencers.
Big money though.
Big money.
Big money.
But very effective.
Yeah.
He's also a shopper. He's a big shopper.
Because these gun tubers want big money. Like Grand Thumb, 2 million subscribers, $10,000 an episode that he wants. To just go, this is what I think of.
I tried this,
Correct.
and this is what I got.
But you get 2 million views.
Yeah.
You engage in the comments.
100%.
Well, he could engage in the comments, yeah, and so he realized that's what he does. He's like, oh, I need to check that out. Goes to the website and Amazon. Websites and Amazon.
He's looking for free education, which is awesome, right? On YouTube. He's looking for a YouTube university. That's what, I'm the same way. I digest a ton of information for free on YouTube. And when I like it, I subscribe to it. So
Yep.
give away your secrets and he'll buy everything.
Correct.
That guy.
Yeah, if he trusts you, then he follows you, and he believes what you say. Yeah.
Then he buys.
And then he buys. He really buys. And baby boomers, you know, we're the optimist, and I say we, I didn't profile me because I feel like I'm jaded. I've been in the profession for so long that I look at things skewed, right? With skewed point of view when it comes to marketing. But baby boomers are typically optimistic, competitive, they have a strong work ethic, I would say that. That fits my brother pretty much. So, but what about my sister? This is my sister Denise, right here. Mama wanted to go zip lining for her birthday a couple years ago, so we took her zip lining. That was a picture we took in the car for the adventure. Denise is a college graduate. She's a business analyst. She's married. She lives in Mesa. She's a crafts upcycler, camper. She's into nature and dogs. She said if she could just take care of dogs for the rest of her life, she'd be happy. And she's an Instagram user, and she is influenced by ads. Very influenced by ads. She does pay attention to the advertising, but she doesn't shop any retail. She basically shops now anything based on need, then she'll go online and research where she can get it. So she relies a lot on Google reviews, checks out websites. You know, like I said, she relies heavily on reviews. It's like a testimonial for her. She doesn't know anybody uses the product, she'll trust the reviews. And she says, this is really, a lot of her habits that she was sharing with me said have changed dramatically since COVID. And I think probably you'll find that a lot. So, you know, my suggestion to you is if you think you know your customers really well, make sure you checked in with them since COVID, because some of their shopping habits may have changed.
What's upcycling?
She's another one who, you know, like could take curtains and make them into something, but they thrift, like this is the family I live in. And if you meet any of them on the street and you tell them that you know me, just don't share any of this information. Deny you. But like we have craft day once a month. I always struggle with what to take. And she's like, can you bring me all your own old jeans? So she'll cut them all out and she'll make this beautiful patchwork throw where she does this creative like sewing technique. And so she's very concerned about her carbon footprint. Yeah, she's very concerned about the environment. And so that's her way of giving back. She says she's always looking for a deal.
It's like recycling and improving it.
Correct. So she's a thrifter too. She likes to shop at Goodwill. She's, you know, we talk about the fashion industry and how much, you know, they have a big carbon footprint. You know, so that's why she likes to buy secondhand, because she feels like she's giving old clothes new life and she's not, infringing on. She's also a big people pleaser. She's not infringing on the environment as much. So if you're gonna market to someone like my sister, what do you do? Where do you go? Where do you put your money? If she's one of your best customers, where do you put your money?
Instagram.
Or Amazon affiliate page.
Can you advertise on the Google reviews?
What you can do is make sure you've got Google reviews.
Okay.
When she goes to, we get to this, and you know the day's coming, right? You get to the point where maybe you need hospice care. We're gonna Google Arizona Care Hospice. You want those Google reviews to be so stellar that we can't help but call you.
Right.
Very good. Okay. And this, okay, so let's meet some millennials. Why not? Who thinks they're marketing to millennials? Anybody in here marketing to millennials? Baby boomers and millennials, probably. Okay. Well, see, my daughter Lauren, I hesitated to ask her questions too. She's my congressional correspondent. So she looks at things a little bit skewed too, because she's kind of in the business. She's a foodie, big reader. She's just a big reader, big traveler, and she loves to thrift as well. She's on Instagram, but not Facebook anymore. I'm seeing kind of that trend. I don't know if you guys are not. The millennials they're leaving, and what's cool about them is that they're normalizing mental health for the entire world. They're normalizing that. In the process, they're realizing that social media can be very toxic, and that they're feeling like it's infringing on their lives, they don't have any problems with giving it up. Lauren says she's influenced by television, magazines, news, and subscription emails. Like I said, she's a prolific reader. In her job, she has to know a lot of things. She's the congressional correspondent. She covers healthcare, so she does a lot of reading in that area. And she relies on Google and websites for information. So we think if you were going to market to Lauren Michelle, where would you spend your marketing dollars?
Email marketing,
Influence.
magazine ads.
In the magazines that she subscribes to. Mhm.
And influencers on Instagram.
It is expensive. Keep in mind, she's in Washington, D.C.
Very expensive.
Start tagging on Instagram, tagging all your stuff near Washington DC. So when you post something about Washington DC, it geolocates around that area. So if I take like an old picture like you and I in DC, and I posted new, and go, hey, TBT, it's Thursday, but I put Washington DC, the likelihood of her seeing it is really high.
If she follows that hashtag, yep.
What TBT is, yeah, it's huge, so.
Yeah, TBT is
Yeah.
huge. And I don't know what hashtag she follows, but she is, I know she does, and that's the thing about hashtags, right? Use the ones that people in your industry follow, for sure. Or ones that if you want to influence somebody like her. One more. My youngest daughter, Kristen Lee, she got married during COVID. That's her handsome husband, Oni. They tried dating in high school, which was really funny. It didn't work out at all. She was a soccer star. He wanted to get her attention, so he tried to play soccer. That was really funny. It worked for a little bit, and then it didn't. And then they kind of found themselves again in college. And so she's a college graduate. She's a manager of process and data, not date, in the environmental field. She loves to craft and garden and read. Home improvement. She is like my brother Dana John. She is good with tools. She's the home improvement person. He's the cook. But he's an anesthesiologist. He cooks to relax himself when he gets home. She is not on social media anymore. She's my first millennial to say, I'm done. I was on Instagram. When she was on Instagram, she used to pay so much attention to Instagram and the ads. She said I bought more than I needed. And my mental health suffered. She said, I'm out. I'm off of everything. And so, as a result, look what influences her. She relies on Google and websites for information, but now she's paying attention to direct mail, television, and billboards.
What are those?
Billboards. And I'm like, seriously? She sent me a text. She goes, oh, I forgot to mention I pay attention to billboards. I'm like, does that influence
How long is her
you?
commute?
Huh?
How long is her work commute?
A lot of times she works from home. But when she's out in the field, sometimes she has to, travel around. So that's interesting. So I feel like that's pretty self-explanatory. If you have to market to somebody like Kristen, you've got to get her attention. Direct mail's gonna work. Yeah, the how-to station, right? My brother drove all the way from Arizona to Indiana with his truck full of tools to help her last summer do an addition. So they worked side by side. They did all of her raised garden beds, some home improvement inside. They worked side by side. She loves using the power tools, and she's all about that. So why do I show you all of this? Why did I make you, kind of same thing as making you look at my vacation slides, so I apologize for that. Why did I introduce you to my family in this manner?
Because they're all different.
They're all different. So what's that mean for you?
Have everything.
Well, you have to average or
You have to know
who your
audience.
partner is. Know your best customer this well. Know your best customer this well, because if you do,
You're going to know exactly where they hang out. and exactly where you need to spend your marketing dollars in order to attract other customers just like them. Okay, one last slide, just to wrap things up, for the takeaways. Did you hear a theme? During that presentation, we were mercilessly subjected to learning about my family. All of them, except for maybe two, use websites prolifically. All of them. They rely on website content. So it works for you 24/7, 365, especially if you've got great content and information, and Joanne, you notice as well as I do, your words are SEO compliant. If those bots are crawling around the internet all the time, they're picking up on that search engine optimization. If you use the right words, then when people are searching for what you are offering, they're going to find you. And just let me tell you that it does take time for you to establish a presence online. But everybody, all of my family, everybody I've talked to, even my 91-year-old dad, relies on online presence. You've got to have an online presence. And you know what my daughter Tristan told me? She said, and reviews. She said, and I can spot a fake review a mile away. So if you have a fake Google review up there, you're done, I'm out. I'm not hiring you. So make sure your Google review, don't buy those things. Because reviews can make the sale, right? Testimonial, they're the same thing as a testimonial or referral. And those things, that's good word of mouth. It's the most valuable kind of advertising. It's earned. You can't buy it. You know, if you can put your money into creating more of that of an environment, then it's just going to spread like wildfire. Not everybody uses social media. Oh my gosh, if I had a quarter for every time somebody said, I have to be on Facebook, I'd be a rich woman. I probably wouldn't be here right now. I would be on the beach somewhere. Because my response to them is always, are you sure you have to be on Facebook? I just had this conversation with somebody the other day. If your best customer is spending time on social media, and you don't spend time on social media, then you probably shouldn't put the time and money and effort into being advertising products and services on social media. Find another way to get social proof and have an online presence. And it starts with where your best customers are looking for it. And awareness is key. You guys saw it, beating that with a stick. Know your best customers, spend money in the places they hang out, and then you'll attract more customers just like them. Any questions? No? Very good. Oh. It is a second. Kathleen just dismissed me. She said, I was like,
Also, like,
yes,
Yeah.
the future.
okay, I don't know that everybody's so.
No, that's a different slide. You're talking about 20 and 45?
No, I didn't see 20 since I said over there. No, I didn't see 20 since I
Three slides?
Yeah.
Oh.
But I was going by the number and then I
They don't know why I use mass PowerPoint to create that for you, and that's just what it generated.
So bigger picture, 7 to 8% are equivalent to, my yearly sales. 7 to 8% of total gross before any, gross is before any expenses. I have an account, so I don't have to get all that shit back.
You should know that.
I know.
I just know that.
Well, your total gross though, I feel like from a business standpoint, your gross is great, but if you have all these crazy expenses, what good is knowing that gross number,
I know.
yeah.
Bottom line is,
Yes. Right. So again, it's like that SWOT analysis. This is fluid. So you look at big picture. Big picture, you look at that and you say, all right, 78%, I'm going to tag for marketing. But once you get down the road, if you can't, you can't. But that's why, and that's another reason why you have to be strategic.
Right. So then you get that number, then you decide, how I roll. I'm like, yeah, that sounds good, let's do it. And it's worked out so far, but I liked her presentation, I hired you, and I've never regretted it, and never looked at any numbers, I just know that I needed your services.
Right.
So, so you do, for example, you get that number, and let's just throw whatever that number out is, the easy number, $10,000. Then you decide, all this is such big picture stuff, sure, I'll sponsor your health care. Sure, I'll do the event. You really have to, marketing's so huge. I know I'm saying everything you said, but it's so huge to really, narrow down really what really works. Because, for example, I'm sitting here thinking, and no disrespect to the Fountain Hills Times, I just no-brainer do it because I want to support them. But at the end of the day, if I really looked at it how you always ask where your customers come from, you know where they come from. At the end of the day, I'm not sure that's a good use of my dollars. And you gotta, I don't know.
So you're talking about ROI. That's what you're talking about, is ROI, right?
Yeah.
Where we've seen it's just consistency. Just banging the same doors over and over and over again. The more touches we have with the same similar people, because we can quantify on our email campaigns, I can quantify every single click and who's clicking what. I can actually see what's creating from an analytical standpoint. Our YouTube channel, I can quantify down to age, all of that different aspects. And so for us, it's hard to quantify. We spent a very large sum of money last year on video production. And when people are like, what's this class about? Now I would not tell them. You send them a link to our YouTube. And
So you're happy you did that?
100%. It was a lot of money. Don't get me wrong. And she hates when I have to come to her and I go, hey, we're going to spend more money. She's like,
So one of the things about the newspaper ads, I was told, is you don't really get a lot of business from that, but it's just the recognition.
That's the one
You don't know. And so it all starts with your best customer. Your best customer reading the newspaper, then you're going to see your ad. It may not say that's where they got your information, or a person like your best customer.
Yeah.
If they see that ad, they may not say, I got it from the newspaper. They may have gotten it from some other source, but they saw it in the newspaper. Yeah. And so when you're looking at the year, just to get back to your question, start with, all right, I'm committing to spending $8,000 this year. This is where I think I need to spend it based on my best customers' habits. And if you're, again, if you're a chamber member, most of you are, start here, because this is where your customers, best customers, are going to these events, they're seeing you in these events. I'm a business-to-business customer, so that's why on occasion I'm going to sponsor a breakfast, because I know that's where my people are.
I would say,
Or the
also
gala.
with advertising, are you running the same ad? Are you trying different ads? What awareness level are you reaching? Are you reaching someone that knows nothing about you, or the person that knows something about you? Mm-hmm. Because that's a different ad.
right. And our brick and mortar, we just did a brick and mortar on the app, and that was really marketing. That's really marketing. It's a trust factor. So we're spending on the order of $24,000 a year for that, approximately, for really just a trust factor. Oh, you actually have an office.
Yeah.
And we've been running lean out of our home for 5 years. Amazon started there, Apple started there, but it's time to grow up and do that. So,
Well, if that's what your best customer,
Yeah.
if they're looking for, and then what you do, you have to be trustworthy.
correct, it's a trust factor.
Yeah, so if they're saying, I trust them because they're not going to go away in the middle of the night, kind of thing.
It's not operating in the back of the truck.
Correct. Yeah.
And I think with budgets too, with marketing budgets, if you're new out of the gate for the first 5 years, you're at that 20-25%. Because if you're not putting in that money into your business to get awareness and build a brand, it's going to be a struggle. It's going to be a slog.
It's like listening to a comedian.
Right, they have to keep saying it over and over and over again for it to gain traction.
The whole if you don't
I'm
get
here. I'm here, and here, and here.
This is what I do.
This is what I do, this is who I am.
And even when you do become established, you back down on that budget.
Is that just gonna continue to give you the same revenue? What if you wanna double your revenue? Well, then you gotta market, right?
Gotta reinvest.
Yeah.
Yeah, and I can remember during COVID too, the first thing everybody did was drop their marketing budgets. I lost 90% of my business. I had started in 2019 by 2020, and I had a great 2019, and 2020 I lost 90%.
We don't talk about 2020.
That's not a spreadsheet.
I would have quit if it were not for this chamber family. Seriously, because there's, Betsy LaVoy. Did you sleep during COVID?
I'd say better.
Yeah.
Yeah, she
Never heard
did.
of it. Never heard of it.
Thrive to Survive campaign was like, I can't quit now. There's too many people who are, investing in me, and so you got to think about your community too.
Yeah, the chamber did that, no. They did it,
Absolutely. Any other questions?
I have a question, and this is chamber related. So we obviously have a marketing budget, but our marketing budgets are specific for events, not for chamber as a whole. And so for companies like Guardian Training and Consulting, does it make sense to have different marketing budgets based on that? So our audience is always different. So for our artisans like Tirsa, we have a healthy marketing budget to make sure they're successful, because that's important for them to come back. And so seeking out different marketing budgets for different things, whether it's for the membership, event driven, your health fair coming up, I'm sure you have a different marketing budget for that, right? So especially if you're reaching out and doing a new event, you might not know what the gross revenue is for that event, not your gross revenue.
But you probably have done a pro forma.
Right.
So you can do a new event. This is what I'm anticipating is gross revenue. It's a new event, 20% is going to go towards, marketing,
Right.
that kind of
As
thing.
long as that pro forma is based on realistic data.
Correct. Or expectations.
Yeah, exactly.
And you don't always, it doesn't
I've seen many of them go like that.
Yeah, it's not gonna work. Yeah, but I think Scott said it best. Everybody's different. You plan for, it's fluid. It's fluid. You always have to revisit it and take a look at it and put your best effort into it, and then you adjust it. You adjust yourselves if you have to. But I'd be curious to know if you add it all up, what percentage of all of the marketing that you do is, what percentage of the gross revenue overall is it? Just to see where you guys land.
Right.
You just
Well, and is it different for a nonprofit? Because when PJ said your gross revenue is here and of course your expenses, so as a nonprofit, we are truly at zero.
right.
So we have gross revenue.
Right.
At the end of the year, we have nothing on purpose, because that's our model. Everything we
That's kind of
take
a law.
in.
That's kind of a law.
Right, so everything we take in
That's kind of a law.
is put back out. Now, some might be in marketing, and that's just a line item that's within that budget. But that gross revenue for a nonprofit versus a successful business, a successful nonprofit, can look drastically different from where you gross is to net. So I think that it's important to know that it's a line item within there even to get down to that zero.
Oh,
For
sure.
us,
Yeah,
yes.
absolutely.
One thing I did, one of our business coaches, at the end of the year, we did a on SurveyMonkey. It's free of charge, but we did a Net Promoter Score survey. If you haven't done a Net Promoter Score survey for your people, you're missing a lot of stuff.
What is it?
So you can go on. It's 0 to 10, and how do they recommend it? And so 0 to 4 are detractors. That means that they don't believe in your business, they don't like you. And then that 5 to 7, I think it's 5 to 7, are your neutrals. And then your 8s are 8 and more are your expanders. So
Who's
these are
that
people.
sent to, Josh?
What's that?
Who's that sent to?
I sent it through email.
To whom?
To my email list, through my CRM. So I sent it to my entire CRM. I sent it to on Facebook. I put the link on Facebook. I put the link on Instagram. I put the link on our website. So I literally just plastered it everywhere. And then I just sent, hey, tell your, correct, to get that data. And I had a little over 300 replies. And our net promoter score was 94.
Which is really
Plus.
great, because that's
Now we can know.
part of the SWOT analysis a bit, you know, so he gets to see his numbers real time. But it's also a great way to, I don't know if it's attached with the email address when you see who responded how, or is it not?
So so you can, because I'm SurveyMonkey, you can they create a template, and then I kind of tweaked it. I asked, optional name. I didn't make it required if they wanted to. So I asked, where do we rank on the 0 to 10? And then what are we doing good? What should we improve? What would you like to see from Guardian in 2024? And then kind of a free flow text.
So anybody who's responded with a name and is ranking them high, he knows it's one of his best customers, so he can go back to them.
Because if you're 0, because it's negative 100 is like, you suck. You should just pull it business. 0 is like, you're just kind of in, and then, but if you're in a positive, then you have more people that believe in you than disbelieve you. So it gave me immense. And then with SurveyMonkey, you can look at all the responses and tally them up, and then make data out of it, make data points. It was huge for us.
I never liked spreadsheets and data, but I really
I love
like
it. I never
Like Bessie will say that, Bessie says that all the time about the chamber, they do great data. And so if you ever are interested in any of these events and you want to know specific data about who's coming through and who's buying, ask the chamber staff, because they've got that information and really help you make an intelligent buying decision in that regard. So websites, Google reviews. Well, I heard some email lists from my families too. Email campaigns are important. Did you hear any other common denominators? Social media wasn't one. Isn't that interesting? It was interesting to me, especially with my millennials.
How does word of mouth play into this?
In this town, word of mouth is huge. If you're marketing or if you have a business in this town and you want residents to know that you're available, it's huge.
So that goes to customer service, right?
Exactly. Customer service, visibility,
Trust.
awareness, trust factors.
Networking, you're doing that.
Networking. All that's huge, and especially in this town. And we're kind of snobby about it, not gonna lie. I mean, it's like, oh, do you have business here, or do you have a business here in Fountain Hills? No. Oh, okay. Next. Next. So we're a little bit snobby about doing business with each other, which is a good thing. Good thing for, yeah, buy local, shop local, absolutely. Thanks for your attention.
Another good one.